All of these blueprints were found in a single match in the new Ark Raiders Hurricane event. Yeah, the new first wave caches are absolutely broken, and I wouldn't be surprised if the devs are already thinking about nerfing them. Now, how do we find these things? What's the best strategy to get as many as possible in a single raid? And what loot really is hiding inside these new caches? Well, let's start with the blueprints. I think a lot of people will be excited to find out what's inside. I'm still learning exactly what blueprints spawn in here. Seems to be quite a variety of options. Firstly, the rare event-specific blueprints are dropping in here, so that does include the Volcano, Bobcat, and Tempest. I've yet to see a Snap Hook blueprint. If you've seen one, I'd love to know. But I have seen a Vita Spray blueprint, one of the rarer medical blueprints, and I wouldn't be surprised if it could also drop a Vita Shot blueprint. Now, what's really interesting about this is it seems to drop explosive mine blueprints really commonly, which is a bit of a strange one. Explosive mines are a part of the industrial container loot pool, so the kind of containers you might find in loading bay and Stella or primary facility on dam. It's quite a common blueprint, so seeing this inside here was quite surprising. I also found a Patina blueprint. Now, that's interesting because the Patina blueprint is part of the Raider loot container blueprint loophole. So, when you open up a normal ticking cache or you open up a weapon case, you could get the Patina, the Toro, the Venator, the gun parts blueprints, and sort of the early weapon blueprints. What that seems to suggest is the normal Raider style loot container blueprint loophole is in here as well. Strangely though, the most common blueprints are the Bobcat, Volcano, and Tempest. That's the thing that I've been getting the most of, which is quite funny considering how rare these are, especially the Tempest and the other map conditions. I really wouldn't be surprised if they end up nerfing the drop rate, so be prepared. Get on and loot these whilst you can. The devs seem to love nerfing things, so yeah, be prepared for that. Now, what I'd like to ask is, what blueprints have you found so far? Leave a comment below letting me know what blueprint you found in one of these containers. I'm sure with enough crowdsourcing, we can get together sort of a picture of what kind of blueprints can spawn in here. The fun thing is, though, the blueprints are only part of the story. The rest of the loot is also extremely overpowered. In the normal ticking caches, you can get a lot of herbal bandages and usually like anvils and arpeggios that are level 1. In these versions of the caches, you get high tier meds in abundance. Just look at how many Vita shots and sterilized bandages I've managed to stock up just by looting these things. They're ridiculous. The weapons that you get can also vary massively. You can get level 1 weapons, but you can also get all of the way up to level 4 weapons and everything in between. The variety of weapons seems to be rather large as well. You could get lucky and get epic weapons potentially, or get unlucky and get uncommon weapons. But for the most part, it seems to more often drop blue tier weapons ranging from level 1 to level 4, which is quite amazing, especially considering there was a hidden nerf to the advanced mechanicals now. Yeah, killing bastions and bombardiers, you're not going to get as many mechanicals. When you recycle a bastion or bombardier cell, you get half the advanced mechanicals you used to. So using this as a source for advanced mechanicals or just weapons in general is going to be quite useful. I don't know why the devs didn't tell us about that one. That was a pretty painful nerf to wake up to. You get meds, you get blueprints, and you also get high-level weapons. You also get an abundance of grenades and other crafting materials like mod components, which is nice. And overall, the number of items per container is usually quite a lot. It's definitely about double the amount you'd get from a normal ticking cache on average, which is quite ridiculous. Like I said before, the overall loot pool for these items is quite vast, and you might be surprised at what kind of items you can end up getting in here. How can we find more of these first wave caches? Well, it's only in the Hurricane map condition, which is a permanent map condition that will rotate throughout the game. At the moment, they're appearing fairly commonly, so you shouldn't have much difficulty getting into a Hurricane event. Now, the spawn locations of these are shared with the normal caches. Now, there aren't as many spawns per match as a normal cache event, but the potential spawn locations are the same, which means you can use metaforge.app to see community-submitted spawn location data, and this is a really good way to see where you might find them. What I like to do is open up the map on a second screen or another device and select just the raider caches on the map. And then from here, what you can do is just have a quick glance of where the spawns are. What you're then going to want to do is do a circle around the map to try and find these. They all spawn pretty much on the outskirts of the map. That's where you'll find the largest concentration of them. And once you get within 20 meters, you will hear a unique sound effect that plays. This will let you know that you're within radius of a cache. Now, 20 meters is quite a short distance, actually, so you're really going to need to be quite vigilant as you go around the outskirts. What I like to do is ping the location on my map in-game that corresponds with the location of the Raider cache on the Metaforge app. So I can kind of keep an eye on which cache locations I'm going past and make sure that I get within at least 20 meters of a potential spawn before moving on to the next spawn. And then I'll do a nice circle around the map, and on average you're going to find about 5 or 6, maybe 7 or 8 if you manage to get around the map quickly enough. And then you'll be able to loot these. Even if another raider has looted these caches, they'll still make the noise, so at least you'll get to kind of have a feel for where the spawns are, even if other people are running these spots as well. Now, I just want to make a disclaimer, before I even post this video or anyone else has really made videos on these, the community has already figured out how these spawns work. And in PvE lobbies, you're going to be racing every other player to find these, and if you're not quick enough, by the time you get to the next cache spawns, you'll find that they've already been looted, right? The PvE players have got this game down to a T at this point when it comes to these kind of things. So you're already, it's already very highly competitive to try and get your hands on these things. The best thing you can do to find more is as soon as you spawn, pay attention to the direction of the wind. Each time you start a new game in the Hurricane map, the wind will be generated to go in a specific direction, and it will constantly blow in that direction for the remainder of that match. This is important because if you run into the wind, you move extremely slowly, but if you run with the wind, you move really fast. If you run perpendicular to the wind, you sort of just go at normal speed. So what that means is you want to try and do a circle around the map that allows you to stay with the wind, or at least not run against it. And because you're always going to be doing a circle around the map to go around the outskirts to loot these things, this is going to help you speed up massively. And it's going to allow you to find so many more caches per map and actually allow you to travel across the map far faster. By the time you've already gone to the other side of the map and you're then now having to fight with the wind, let's be honest, those other caches on that side of the map have probably been looted, and you may as well leave and just start again. What I like to run in this map is like a Renegade and an Anvil to deal with any of the Ark that are flying around, and then I just bring a bunch of stims, one stack of normal bandages, and I don't really even bother bringing a shield because it's just going to be broken anyway out in the storm, so you may as well just not even have one. Definitely bring a hatch key though. The hatches are open in the Hurricane event, and that's going to allow you to escape no matter where you end up later on in the match. Now, as a final little tip that I like to use, especially when I'm trying to loot things, pure 100% PvE lobbies, like right at the higher end of the scale, are really hard because everyone in these lobbies only does PvE. They're really experienced with looting everything, and if you're in these lobbies, you're going to struggle to find many caches. What I did to improve how many caches I found per match is to, when I extracted, shoot players and down them. I'll let them extract with me, but I'll be doing damage to raiders so that my aggression rating goes up a little bit and I get put into slightly less full PvE lobbies. Yes, there's a bit of risk there, but those kind of players that you can end up getting matched with are less likely to be absolute uber PvE sweats, and I found that was easier to find more caches, so you could consider doing that as well. Thanks for watching, everyone. I'll see you all in the comments. Cheerio.